Why don't we take a minute and we'll just give your name, maybe give you the number of years of experience you had, and then one of the reasons why you came over. Let's go around the table.
Don Hebert, card number 772-9762. I spent 9 years non-union. I just got I started as just a delivery driver, had really no intention of becoming an electrician. I had no family, and I'm the first union member in my family, so there was nobody to tell me, to go down to IBEW and sign up. So I got on with a contractor and worked there 9 years. And then in February of 2017, I started talking with John Carhoff, one of your guys' organizers, and talking to a buddy who had come over, and got the ball rolling. And 3 good years. Haven't been off unless I wanted to be off. And I want to encourage everyone else to come over. It's not scary like they make it seem. It's there's differences on the job sites. It's a whole different. I don't know. It's hard to explain the difference. You just feel different on a job site when it's completely union. I don't know. It's a hard one to explain, but I don't regret the decision at all, and I really hope that more members decide to join.
My name is DeCarlos Henderson. I've been in the trade for a little over 10 years, and I was a foreman for 3 of those 10 years, and just the reason that I decided to become an electrician is my dad's an electrician, and I just kind of want to pursue those same footsteps, and took me a route. I've been speaking with one of the organizers for 4 years before I actually made the transition. I went through my emails yesterday, and he has been consistent, and it just there had to be a reason why he kept reaching out to me, and I finally, once I entertained what he was saying and sat down and did the math and looked at where I wanted to be in life, the only way I could get there was to come over, and I've been over for 6 months now.
Great.
My name is Chris Kettlehut. I started actually doing some low voltage for Charter in '99, and then in 2013 got on with a non-union contractor, and some of the guys that I worked with were slowly one by one leaving and coming over to IBEW, and after talking with the organizers and talking it over with my family, I married my wife in 2014, and my brother-in-law is a 30-year member at Guarantee Electric. So I had a long talk with him and decided that it was the best thing for myself and my family, and it's easily been the truest thing that I can say is that it's been unbelievable. It's been great all around, but you definitely feel like you joined a brotherhood. There are rules that have to be followed, and it wasn't like that before at Reinhold Electric.
Yeah. Mike Meinhardt started being an inside wireman in 1999. Worked, did all kinds of work, service work, everything. Got into the bucket truck probably in 2008 or so. Started running bucket truck work for Reinhold. Ran into a buddy of mine at soccer, another parent at soccer, and he was a GF for JF Electric. He's like, "Why don't you try to be a lineman over at 309?" That's interesting. I'm like, scared I'm gonna get laid off. He's like, "Wouldn't do that to you." He's like, "You're pretty much like family." He's like, "Why would I do that to you?" Well, I've heard they always get laid off. He's like, "No, it don't work that way." He's like, "Put in for an application." So I was nervous as all get out because I'm like, somebody finds out I'm doing this, I'm gonna lose my job and I'm gonna have nothing. So he came over and helped me fill it out and stuff, make sure I did it all right. About 6 months or so went by. I had an interview, got on, and the best choice I ever did. But before that, I was the vice president of 57, and that was the part when he was talking to me about it. I realized we had no say so on the contract, so I'm like, I want to go somewhere where I have a backing. I'm sick of being scared of losing my job, sick of not knowing what's going to happen with your job because Jerry's is crazy. They're all crazy there. And I've seen good guys that been there a long time get fired. Don is too. And it's like, that could be you. And they didn't do nothing wrong. They might have made one mistake, something silly, and they're gone. I'm like, I jumped on it. I was like, I'm out of here. I talked to my wife. I'm like, we got to make a jump. Like, this is the buddy telling me this, that friends of the family, we're going to do it now. It's time to do it. So I did it. And now, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've got more retirement with IBEW in 6 years I've been here than I did in 14 years at Reinhold.
So, how many years were you local 57?
That's hard. I know I was with Reinhold for, I believe it was 9 years. So I'm not exactly sure when they became part of 57. Probably a majority of it. I would say 6 years, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
6 years, and I think my retirement in those 6 years is, I don't know, $500-600 a month if it's still there when I go to retire in 30 years. And in 3 years of working, I've got close to 50 grand. That's my money, and I choose how to. So it's pretty wild.
I forgot what the question was. But
How many years were you 57? Let me ask you, let me go back. Did you go through their apprenticeship program?
I did 2 years
Started
at
12 years
IEC
ago.
and then 2 years at 57's program. So I split my apprenticeship in half with them.
Okay.
I was a part of 57 for 9+ years, and I did 2 years of their apprenticeship program. But I think it's funny that everybody here has kind of mentioned, even though we all wanted to do it, that we were still scared or hesitant or whatever. And to anybody that's thinking about doing it, it's a scary change. It's different. You know, none of us knew what to expect. None of us had ever experienced it. So it's normal to feel like that. And I mean, there's no kind of coaching you can give people for that anxiety when you're making a change that big. So that's just something I just wanted to get out for.
And and just we'll move on, but just the anxiety, even when anytime you quit a job, even when you're IBEW, you've got that hiring, but that first time for anybody it's a tough thing to leave.
Yeah.
Somewhere you think you're comfortable, you're comfortable. You have to be happy, but you're comfortable, and you make that decision to quit. It's like, okay, well, that's the great thing about being the IBEW. You're going to go to that work in that next shop, and they're going to be doing electric work. It's going to be safe, and you're going to get the wage and benefit package that you're supposed to get as a general environment. You don't have to prove yourself to be from a B to an A or whatever. So,
Contractor to contractor.
contract, and it's once again, that's the crazy part about that agreement is your classification is arbitrary to the contractor. It's not. There's really nothing in writing about what you're supposed to get paid.
It only takes about a week for that nervousness end, and you realize you made the best decision in your life. And then you're like, oh my God, it's just like, just everything's lifted off of you, and you're like, wow, this is all told. After being there so long, like all of us, it's just like a weight lifted off you. You're like, man, this is nice. That's all I can say. And I know these guys probably feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, I started work for Reinhold in 2013. So I had 4+ years with them, and I was running work and on a service van probably since I was a 4th-term apprentice. Working by myself. That was one of the main reasons that I came over. Was the last 3 jobs I was on by myself. I could not get a hand of help. I kept, I'm in 4 different places pulling wire by myself, and it was ridiculous. And they were just running me into the ground. And the last job I was at was a retirement home, and they literally said, we don't have anybody to send you. And they wanted me to pull a bunch of wires back, lay them on the floor when I had wheelchairs going by and old people, and they just didn't really care. They didn't really care to send me any help. I came over as an accelerated apprentice, and I could tell in probably the first week or 2, how good of a teacher the IBEW has. And they've got multiple teachers. Dennis Graylick was mine. and he was an excellent teacher, and I could tell right away that the training was legit. And I wish I could have gone through that training, because, like you said, the apprentices coming out are excellent pipe benders. They know everything they need to know and are ready to go.
And I think some of that too is because they go to school 1 day a week, so they learn something, and that next day on the job they get to utilize it.
Right.
They're not crammed into 5 days. I think they do 1 week every 3 months or whatever over at 57. So you go to school, they jam a week's worth of stuff in there, and then they don't see you for 3 months.
And they don't miss pay when they go to school.
That's
You end up working for pennies at Reinhold. When you went to school, I think you got $200 for that week. So, I mean, that's a huge
I think
hit.
half of that's funneled right back into one of their funds.
Right.
I believe.
What year I started at Reinhold? I started Reinhold, I believe, 2002. I left in 2014. And when did 57 start? What year was that? Was that 08 or 09?
08, 09, and once again, it's pretty funny that guys are part of that union and can't really tell you exactly when it started.
Yeah, no, I know we were one of the couple, like the third company or so to start. I started, I guess, in 09 or so with 57, lasted to 2014. One thing I can say, even being a lineman and being at the 309's training facility for the inside wireman is top notch. I will give you guys that. I've never been through your guys' apprenticeship program, but the training facility at ours is phenomenal. I can't believe the control systems, everything they have there that they train. I can tell it's top notch. It's way better than anything I did at the IEC. So I will say that.
So, in this election process, you're going to have apprentices that are going to be voting on this, and you're going to have journeyman wiremen that are going to vote on this. What can you say? And a few of you have touched on it, but about the training opportunities that you have with the IBEW.
What was that? So
What training opportunities? In the I'll say short time that you've been here. What are the training opportunities have you seen, and the differences maybe in the 57 apprenticeship program as opposed to the IBEW Local 1 program, and the things that are offered also to journeyman wiremen.
probably the night classes, so you can you see the amount of continuing education, code class. I think you can do there's a refrigeration class or an HVAC semester. These guys, you take the code class and you can work your way. They'll prep you to take your own license exam. Because they want people to come through the apprenticeship, or even, I guess, organize in, take these continuing education classes, maybe start up your own company, and continue to grow the IBEW. The facility is, like you said, it's top notch. I think the kids, when they come out of there, are more well-rounded. There's different methods of, finding out your offsets and your take-ups, and they know multiple, ways to get the same thing done, not just the simple the multipliers. It's more well-rounded. I think it's taken more serious by the teachers and by the students. When you said earlier about you take in 1,000 applications and you only get to pick 20 or 30 guys, those guys who were lucky enough to get in know that you got one shot, you need to do it right and take it serious. Whereas they'll hire anybody off the street, and when they're done with you, they're done with you. I think the whole culture is different. People take it serious and want to learn, and it produces better electricians.
Goes a little bit back to what I said earlier, just about caring about the actual industry. Making sure we have those continuing education classes for our journeyman wiremen, because technology changes, and to be the best, we've got to make sure we have the best training, and keep our journeyman wiremen updated.
Yeah, I would say when I first started with 57, one of the first jobs I was on was all pipe, and I'd never been to pipe. My first or second day, they just threw me out on the job, and I actually called the hall and asked if they had a pipe bending class that we could do so I could learn how to bend pipe. And they said, well, if we can get like 5 guys to do it, then yes. At IBEW Local 1, they have night classes for anything you want to do, whether it's working on your pipe bending, whether it's working VFD drives. If you're wanting to hone your skills in some areas that you're lacking, the opportunity is there, and it's at no cost. So I know just training wise, it's head and shoulders above 57.
Don't you guys also offer like a foreman's class?
Yeah, there's foreman's classes. Like I say, we prep people to take the, to take the license, the electrical license test. And once again, we've got a lot of members that are license holders. They're not their own contractor, but they're license holders for a contractor. We've got multiple journeyman wiremen that are out there doing that. So we've got this campaign going on right now, and with work as good as it's been the last few years, we have had the opportunity to help several 57 members to come over. And what we'd like to do, with what we're doing now, is help the masses. Give everybody that opportunity to be an IBEW Local 1 member, make the area wages benefit package, go through our apprenticeship program, go through our German wireman evening classes. So that's what our goal is right here, is to help the members of Local 57 get what they deserve, get the training that they either want or need or deserve to have, to make sure that they're a top electrician and getting the top pay that they should be getting in the industry. So I guess maybe talk a little bit about your how that's worked for you and the things that maybe that you were told that aren't true. Maybe get a little specific about that. But to talk about the opportunities that were afforded you when you came over and that you took advantage of, and kind of where you are today, and that we'd like to extend these opportunities to all the 57 members so that they have when they sign that card that nobody else sees but the organizer, themselves, and the Department of Labor. When they see that card and they sign that card, that they know if we get enough people sign those cards, they're going to have an opportunity to vote on who represents them and what their path is going to be for their electrical career.
I think one thing that's kind of always stuck out is I was in Alton, Illinois. I had 2 business reps from the local up there come see me on a job, and he's telling me, man, we want to give you more money, get you a retirement. He goes, we got guys retiring millionaires. And I'm thinking, I've never heard of an electrician being a millionaire. And I remember I went back to the shop that night or that week, and we were sitting around with some project managers, and I mentioned that they had came and seen me and told me that, and everyone got a kick. Everyone was laughing, oh, that ain't true. And now being here, I've physically seen these guys show me on their phone the account 1.4, 1.1. These guys are leaving millionaires, and that's not the 401k included. That is the,
That's just the IBEW
the
Local
pension.
1 pension.
Yep. And that's one thing that's kind of always, I don't know why that's stuck in my head, but I guess just that they're retiring of millionaires, and I think that's pretty cool to have the opportunity to, maybe one day I'm a millionaire and I got it doing it the blue collar way. They're not lying when they come out to these job sites. They're not lying to you. These reps they're trying to get what's best for you. All the things I was told when talking to you and John Koroff, when I came to sit down with you guys, nothing has been a lie. And I think you guys, with how you placed me and at what contractor, you had my best interest. I wanted to go run big work. You guys placed me with a smaller contractor. You felt, let's just get my feet wet. Let's see how things operate. So I went there. I got my full journeyman A card after I took a test, and then I hit that big bag, scary the hall. Went down there and I quit my job and went and signed went to the hiring hall, signed a referral, and I was out the next day. It's not scary. I think I was 260 something on the list, and I went out the next day. So when they're throwing numbers at you, saying you're going to hit the book and you're never going to work again, I'm living proof. At 260, you know, I didn't miss a day's worth of work.
It was a walkthrough.
It's so I think those are. I think the hiring hall is what they kind of use to scare a lot of the guys, and I was worried about it. And then I get in and I'm talking to guys, and I'm watching these contractors put in calls, and I'm seeing where they're going on the list, and I'm gonna do it. I think right now is a good time. Quit and go out, the next day. It can be used to benefit us, the workers, just as much as the employee or the employer who wants to man up to get a job done. I would recommend they not get scared of that. Use it to their advantage. It's there to help. When I took that call for the different contractor, I didn't have to go in there and say, this last contractor was paying me this much money. Do you think you could do that for me too? It's wages are negotiated. Everything's the same. I think that's the hiring hall. Don't let it scare you. It would be my biggest thing, and that the reps really do have the best interest out for all of us.
I think what stuck with me is just from my first day, I'll never forget the guy saying when I filled out my application at my new employer, he goes, "You're getting ready to do the same work for more pay." And that just stuck with me. I'm like, I'm doing the exact same. You're still gonna be doing electrical work for more pay. And for people that are thinking about, or people that are contemplating a decision, this entire organization, the way I kind of view it is, you guys are protecting my pocketbook. You know what I mean? Don't have to pay for parking. Contractors reimburse for boots. No buying cordless tools. I mean, that's a huge financial impact coming out of your pocket. Your vacation, holiday pay. It seems too good to be true, which is why when the contractor or when 57 says it's not true, like, yeah, nobody's getting that, but everybody's getting it, and that's just how I view it. You're just protecting my pocketbook, and I had a conversation with a guy who still is local 57, and he was talking about some job that got taken away from him. And I was like, you know what? They just protected their membership's pocketbook, because whatever happened with that job, it wasn't right. And now we have an opportunity to get that work for us. I go, it's no different than they're just looking out for us. I go, so if you were a member, you'd want somebody out, seeing somebody doing something wrong or negligent and putting a stop to it. I go, they just protected my pocketbook. I go, I know you're upset about it right now, but that was the right move, and that's just how I view it. It's like, I got a big brother out there, and you're not going to take my money. So
yeah, we're out on those job sites with this campaign trying to get people to sign cards, just to give them a choice. Doesn't mean that they have to, tomorrow after they sign that now they're leaving their employer. That would represent, IBEW would represent the employer that they're working for right now, and they get a choice to vote on it, whether they want to do it or not, whether the members collectively get to vote on it, and that's something they've never been able to do before. They get to decide if they want to know what's going on with their contract, if they want to say no to their contract. That's something that they never had the option to do before.
This will probably be the first vote anybody in 57 has had on anything.
Absolutely.
Is that a correct statement?
That is a 100% true statement. We've talked about the retirement. We've talked about coming out of pocket for your own tools and parking and, all that stuff. I mean, just carrying a truckload of tools around, is a worry, because you're worried somebody's going to take your livelihood out of your vehicle. And if they do, then you got to replace it all. That's not like that in Local 1. For the IBEW, you don't carry power tools. They're supplied for you. If something happens on a job site and they get taken, your contractor brings more power tools out to you. It's not something that you've got to worry about. I can tell you one one beautiful thing that the IBEW does too that we haven't talked about is vacation. You know, if you work full time, you're going to end up with 4, maybe 5 weeks of
5,
vacation. You know, depending on how much you're working. If you're on overtime jobs, I'm a worker, so it's hard to take off 4 weeks in a year. But
Two of them are mandatory.
Yeah. And
The better quality of life that they you know give you is when they're forcing you to take time off.
Right.
You know, get away from it for 2 weeks. You know,
What about how you can go to any city in the United States and work?
Right.
If your wife transfers for work and you gotta go, you're not scrounging for a job, you go sign the books at that local, get on there. No one's touching that. I think that's awesome. That's one of the best things. A lot of our guys, they'll just go to California because they want to go see California and go work, or St. Thomas. We have guys in the islands working. I mean, it's, what kind of life is that? That's great. If you want to go live on the beach, you go send the books down there and get on there. I mean, you can go anywhere.
Those are options.
It's options, yeah. There's plenty of options. I mean, there's so much you can do.
they got to sign that card.
Yeah, sign
You
it.
got to get the card signed.
I wish we would have had this opportunity when we were all there.
You know,
I don't remember ever having that, and if it would have, I would have signed it.
You know, me, Carlitos, or Carlitos. Sorry, buddy. It's Carlos. Chris, man, we've been out on these job sites with them, and I'm telling these guys to sign the card. You can do it online. You can mail it in. We don't even know who's signing the cards. They're not telling us. You know, if they're having a meeting with a guy, you know, for lunch or for dinner, we don't know who it is. They're not telling us. I just want them to know that it's taken seriously. When they get these cards signed, they'll tell us, yeah, we got one signed today. We got 3 that came in this morning, but they're not telling us who. The employer is not going to find out. It would be a violation of federal law if they did leak that information, and we wouldn't be putting all this time in just to violate someone's trust. I've never been lied to, and I don't think they're going to start lying to people. No, secrecy is you know, it's a big thing. We got to get these cards signed so we can give you a voice.
And all of us sitting at this table that work for the 57 contractors know why you're scared to sign the card or why you're scared to do it.
We're all scared.
On job sites because, you know, we realize the, you know, kind of the culture over there on throwing your job in your face and being worried about getting fired and not being able to get on with another company in 57. So that's why, you know,
And
take the card and do it online. And
I know
if you want to talk to us, we'll explain to you, you know, why it's so great over here and why we made the move.
well, some guys are a little weary to sign the card. It's not. You may not even, if you sign this card, you get to vote. And I know some guys don't want to. They like having the service truck for this certain contractor. Maybe they really enjoy the owner, you know, and they don't want to leave him. They've been there for 15, 20 years. If we can, you know, if we can get these cards signed and get it to a vote, you don't have to leave. You get to wear the same T-shirt to work, drive the same number van, and do the work on the same jobs for the same kind, you know, the same generals that you've worked on and built relationships with. So you don't have to leave. We're just trying to.
That's a great point. You know, that's a great point. Is, you know, if Local 1 becomes your representative and we win this election, that doesn't mean you have to change contractors. You can, if you love who you're working for and working with, you'll be doing that, but you'll be doing it making more money.
Better standard of living.
Yeah, with the hiring hall, it kind of forces the contractors to treat their employees better. Because if you're not happy there, you have somewhere to go.
Got 150 other opportunities.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of guys in 57 know guys that work for IBEW. You know, whether it's you know, maybe a family member or a friend or something.
I urge them to reach out to them, just see if we're lying. You know, see if these reps are telling the truth, and that's a way to fact check them. Call your buddy or your neighbor, whoever you see, you know, or who you know that's IBEW, and ask them some questions. Just be open to it at least.
And anybody that you know that was a 57 member is now an IBEW member. I would imagine most guys would gladly show you their paycheck stub. You know,
I'll show you my paycheck stub any day. I got them all in the email. I'll even mail them on to you.
My W-2 from last year is looks pretty good. That's by far the best year I've ever had in my life.
The good thing is it's more than just what the money on the
Yeah.
check.
Yeah,
That's a
It's
bonus.
the safety, it's the world-class training,
it's brotherhood.
it's the brotherhood, which it sounds kind of, it might be a little corny coming from guys over there because they don't experience it. What you get over here, it's the real deal. People care about you. You know, I was doing a shutdown at General Motors, and one of our guys from Traveler who came in from Kansas City lost his mother while he was here and had to leave early. We got the whole crew, 40 guys, all put money in a card and sent it back home to him to help him out, you know. It's stuff like that that you're not going to get there. Not only does, you know, the representation have our back, but Carlos has my back, you know. Business Manager Jacobs has my back. Everyone, it truly is a brother, sisterhood too, I guess you could say now. They care about one another, and it shows. There's lots of ways to give back to the community, like rebuilding St. Louis. You know, you go and fix people's electric, and it's just it's stuff like that that you don't get the opportunity over there to see and to feel, and I think it's something special. I really do. I've made lifelong friends in 3 years.
And no one treats you different when you come over. They treat you great. That's what I like. I was scared, like everybody's like, "Oh, you were 57 vice president." Everybody's like, "Thank God you came. I'm glad you came. Let's get more of your guys." I'm like, "Awesome. This is great." People enjoyed you coming. Coming from 57, you guys were always scared, probably too, right? Like, oh, these guys are gonna hate us. You know, we're non-union. They're gonna hate us, but they didn't. They enjoyed having us coming. That's how I felt when I came over to. It was great.
And what, you know, it goes back to what I said earlier, you know, it's never personal about the electricians that are out there working for 57 or the non-union. It's their contractors and the way they treat you. And, you know, going back to your point, you know, another thing that, you know, you'll get to do here is, you know, you'll get to vote for your representation. You get to do that every 3 years. We have elections every 3 years. You'll vote for business manager.
So if we don't like you, we can vote you out, right?
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. You know,
If we don't think that
if you
our
don't like the
leadership-
contract, you can vote against it. If you're in the majority, it gets voted down. If it's in the, you know, if it's in the minority, you're going to live under that. But you did get a vote on that, and you did get a voice on that at that meeting. You could talk about it all you want. You know.
Yeah, nobody at 57 knows really anything about contract negotiations, so I don't know if they have their best interests at heart. You don't have any idea. You've probably never seen a contract either. So you're paying union dues for what? You know, I just
No taxation without representation, right? Isn't it
Right,
the same?
that's- yeah, I
It's
mean,
no
that's-
different than if you pay your taxes and you get to vote in your elected officials.
Right.
And going to meetings means something.
Would anybody move somewhere else and pay more in taxes and tell them that their right to vote has been stripped away? It's asinine.
Right.
You know, they pay higher dues than we do. It's unbelievable. But those guys pay 4% compared to our 3% and get zero representation.
And when we came over, we met right here and went over the contract and went over the rules and the, you know,
It's not a
I got a
secret.
booklet of who to call and when and why, and then, you know, the Constitution and what some of the differences are, and that way, you know, we get out when you get out in the field and you're first coming over, there's a lot of different rules that you don't know about, you know. So you know, it was on a Saturday, and half the reps came down and sat with us and met us and went over the do's and the don'ts, and you know how to make everything a smooth transition, and that's what it's been.
Let's get these cards signed.
Yeah.
I think that's
Don't be
everything
scared,
we're
sign it.
talking about right here is it means nothing to them if they can't get these cards signed.
Right.
You know, so they need talk to, you know, call your coworkers at night if you don't want to do it on the job. Just talk about it.
And we'll meet, you know, one of the former members and an organizer. We'll meet you anytime, any place, any day of the week. We'll make sure that we've got somebody there with us that, you know, can verify what the organizers tell them. We have no problem with that. We've got full buy-in from these guys. They're donating their time, you know, on Saturdays, Sundays, and evenings because they want what's best for everybody out there in the industry, not just IBEW Local 1 members.
Yeah, we're all electricians. You know, just some of the electricians out there aren't getting paid scale
And represented.
and represented, and they should be, and have the best training. I mean, it's all the way down the line. They're getting a raw deal. So that's it's imperative that we get the
They tell
cards
you
signed.
you're going to come over and you're going to sit.
I had 6 years at the same company here.
I haven't been laid
2,000
off a day.
hours
Me too.
every year. I mean, it's
The days I'm off, I want to be off.
they've got the propaganda. There's a reason why they're trying to union bust. The contractors don't want it. They want it for themselves, and there's a reason why they've created, labor laws in this, country saying that you have the right to choose representation.
Well, local one contractors beat local 57 contractors all the time on a job.
Which,
So where's that extra money going? If they would have gotten that job and they were a higher bid, where's all that money going? Because here it's going proportionate to our collective bargaining agreement. Theirs, it's going to their collective bargaining, but proportionate, but more of their money is going in their pocket,
Yep.
in the owner's pocket.
Like you said, nobody goes from IBEW Local 1 to 57. Nobody's out organizing us off our job
If it was-
to go to 57.
if it was so terrible, people
Guys
would be
wouldn't
leaving.
Right.
No one's leaving.
Right.
It's working the other way. I think a lot of the guys know it. I think it's just that initial being scared. They can look at our wage sheets and they can talk to us. And if I was still sitting over there and I had someone telling me to come over, I'd give it some real consideration. Why should they be making so much more money than me? We do the same work
Right.
Safer.
and safer. Yeah, without a doubt. Gotta get the card signed. I can't keep stressing it enough. That's because it doesn't mean anything.
Sign the card.
It doesn't-
Sign the card and have a voice in your future.
And
That's all you're
If they
doing.
decide to not join us, well, then I guess so be it at that point. But at least, we know that's where they stand.
At least you'll know. At least every individual will know they had a say in what their future representation looks like. Whether it looks like 57, whether it looks like the IBEW, or whether you maybe vote to go back and be non-union. But at least you have a voice.
And a better future, too. You got a voice and a better future. I can tell you for my family, it was easily the best decision that I ever made.
I can't disagree with you on that. I don't think you're going to get many guys who have come over to say anything different. We could have fit 40 people in here. You would have had 40 of the same answers. And that's not just by chance.
No.
It's not by chance. They really do care. They have your back. And the more people we get, the more members we can get. Another 300 guys. It just makes us stronger.
And 6 new contractors that'll be IBEW contractors that'll be out there.
Yep.
That's the bottom
They-
line. We want the members and we
They
want the
continue. They're
contractors.
still going to get that work.
And nothing changes. You're just getting better representation when you come over. You're going to stay at whatever company you're at 57. Nothing's going to change. You're going to be happier.
St. Louis is under one, together, strong with one union.
Yep.
That would be huge.
I'd like to thank you guys for doing all you're doing, and thank you guys for coming out and spending a couple hours here just talking about the drive and what we're doing. Once again, sign the cards, have a voice, and
It's
have
not
a
a
vote
for
in your
sure thing to
future.
sign. It just gets the ball rolling. That's all it does.
Sign the card.
Call us, contact us, so we'll answer any
Please,
questions
yep.
you want.